People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People 7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. Now, as many of you know, I just extended my braids into much longer braids using Connect-A-Line. They are too thin. Apparently, Connect-A-Line sheds a great deal, and I'm going to transpose those into yarn braids. So, how do you transpose while you already have an actual hairstyle? I'm going to show you that now. Okay, here, as you can tell, or maybe you can't, but look real close, that's my hair. This is the Connect-A-Line hair. Looks almost exactly the same. Can you tell where the yarn braid is? It's the one that's not only longer because of yarn, you can make it any length you want, but the ends look like this for right now, until I very carefully trim it right there. But I'm going to show you how to do this. But if you look real close at the texture, that's a more natural look. Now what you do is you take 2 strands of whatever yarn that you're going to use and whatever length you're going to use, and half that. See? I usually use it like this, fold that in half, so that gives me the base amount. So, say for instance I wanted it 18 inches long, then of course it's going to be 36 inches when I pull it, because you're using 2 strands, and then you're folding that in half. Now, I'm going to go find one of the strands that I had extended. Using the same method, I'm going up the roots, rubbing, or turning rather, and then getting a good grip on it. And then I can just slide that right off. Because of the method I used to do the extension, there's no damage to my hair. It's secure until I remove it. And that's how I remove it. And then I just braid it up the exact same way. And see, this comes in handy if I have some place to be, but I don't necessarily have the time to change up my hairstyle. So I could work on the hairstyle while I actually have the other hairstyle in. And I have 2 strands here. 2 strands here and the braid here. Now, when I get close to the end, especially since that's a gray hair hanging out, I'm going to split off one of the strands. So now I'm braiding with 1 strand in the middle, 1 strand as part of the braid, and then 2 strands. And then when I get to the very end, I'm going to split the strand that was with the hair. So now the hair actually has 2 strands, whereas the yarn only has 1 strand each. Let me show you what that looks like. So the one that has the strands that had my hair in is now 2 strands. And then there's 1 strand each for the ones that start out with just the yarn. That does 2 things. One, it effectively covers where my hair was, especially when they're gets to the end where you have a couple of scragglers, or where the end piece would have been rather sharp from the contrast in the natural hair and the braid and the yarn. And it provides some extra protection for the hair. And I braid it this way because it's not too tight, and it keeps it from tangling up because I'm working at the bottom now. And at this point, I just literally watch TV or whatever, and I'm not worried about cramping up my hands because the way I do this, I have a nice smooth transition. Let's see, where's my hair stopping? My hair stopping right there, and I can just literally smooth it in. And another good thing about yarn braids, because you have to maintain the moisture level of your natural hair so nothing breaks off. My hair was moisturized before I did this, and the only thing I have to do is keep it moisturized, and if nothing else, I could always just put a little bit of water, spray it on, or I could just wet the hair. And of course, you wet yarn braids and all your hair becomes moisturized by default. Trust me on that. Might take it a while to dry, but still. Now let me show you how I'm going to anchor this off. Okay, that's right about where it needs to be. I like keeping things kind of like at the same level. Now, I'm going to find the longest strand. That would be this one. And then I'm going to loop it around. And then down. It's kind of a knot. Ta-da. But it makes a knot that goes this way. See that? Instead of a knot that just lifts straight up, it actually points down. And then I could go like this, make sure it stays nice and tight. So that way, if I need to cut it, well, let's see if I get it right where you can see it. But when it's time to cut it, then I could just literally go where the end of that knot is and just trim it off right there. And you have a nice, even edge. Some people might want to, take some scissors, or, they might want to burn it, but there's no need to do that. If it's staying put, you don't have to burn it. Ta-da. So here we have an unburnt edge that's nice and soft. And that's another good thing about the style. Connect-a-line tends to itch me, and I remember that's why I took it out in the first place, and that's why I don't use that particular medium, because it could be irritating. And yarn braid does not itch me. In fact, I could do this all day. It won't bother me. It's acrylic yarn. I'm using this brand here. This is a really beat-up brand, so, It's Karen Simply Soft Eco. Eco would be the yarn they invented from recycled plastic bags and recycled bottles, so forth, so on. So you're saving the planet, too. Anyway, I used to use red hard acrylic yarn. That stuff can be harsh and drying. Simply Soft just simply looks like the texture of my natural hair, which is why I could just literally grab some of my hair and the yarn and put it together, and nobody be able to tell the difference, which is another thing that makes it desirable. So in the meantime, I'm going to transpose all the connect line hair with some yarn braids, and since I will absolutely positively have some left over because I've had that container of yarn for like 30 years. It literally does not run out when you're doing this. And it takes a long time for it to run out. So I have enough to do the front too. So y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.